We welcome you to episode 59 of Battin and Chattin here in Eastern Observer. Alongside Denis Tuohy, I'm Brandon Natale. Now, before we get started, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube to be kept in on the loop on everything Eastern Observer, and most importantly, Battin and Chattin. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts can be found. Denis, how you doing today on this fine evening?
Doing good. The Yankees won in a walk-off. The Mets won late, too.
Yes, there's somehow
pretty good.
Francisco
Pretty good day for New York baseball.
To win the NL MVP. Now, before we get into that, though, today is also a very important day, unfortunately, and when I mean unfortunately, a lot of tragic lives were lost on this day. Today is September 11th. We must not forget the ones that were lost on this tragic day. Like I said, when I mean unfortunately, I mean this is an event where tragic struck and lives were lost and taken innocently, and we cannot forget about those, especially the first responders, the policemen, the policemen, the firefighters who sacrificed their lives and were heroes that day. The countless stories you hear from that day, and obviously the Twin Towers, a beautiful landscape, tragically knocked down by the terrorists. So let us not forget the lives we lost that day, and remember why we love this country, and even though the country's not perfect, like I said, why we are proud to have the freedoms that we have, why we are proud to be an Americans. Anything weird to say, Denis?
Yeah, I mean, it's awful that it happened. Obviously, I don't know if I think I've told you this in the past, but my grandfather actually died of a 9/11 related illness. He was a paramedic. He was a first responder.
Really?
And yeah, and
no.
Yeah, my godfather was a fireman. He's retired now. He was also a first responder, so he's doing good. My godfather.
Ground Zero. He didn't go into towers, did he?
I think he did.
Really?
I think my godfather did. I don't know. I was always told it wasn't really something to bring up, but
right,
yeah. So like growing up, I remember my grandfather died 2013 that November. It was right around Thanksgiving. I'll never forget. It was his favorite holiday, and I think it was right after, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like December 3rd or something offhand. So the name Michael Cavanaugh is on a bunch of monuments, memorials, things like that. We had gone up to Albany for one of them when his name got added to. I know I'm gonna butcher it because I was like 15 when it got added, but it's like a kind of like a tree of names of first responders, and his name got added to it. It's not like a real tree; it's like a monument.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, and so it's for my family. It definitely means a lot. It's it's kind of crazy because you hear all the stories afterwards of the unity around tragedy, and we always see this in life and things like that. It's not just terrorist attacks, after school shootings that are unfortunately very common, mass shootings in general that are any kind of tragedy you could think of. When there's some kind of a horrific accident like a plane crash or something, and not like a nefarious plane crash, just like it happens kind of plane crash or accident or something, that there's always a little bit of unity, because you realize that there's more important things in life than whatever petty nonsense you have going on. And it's a shame that our country is as divided as it is now, and that people like it to be that divided instead of working towards unity more often than not. It's a shame. And in my opinion, being as divided as a nation as we are now does a disservice to the people that were lost on 9/11 and people like my grandfather, and unfortunately thousands others who have died since through those 9/11 related illnesses. And Congress seemed to do nothing about until Jon Stewart led the charge. I don't think you need a talk show host to do that, to do your job as a politician, but that's me. And And that's pro. I don't want people to misinterpret that because that was worded weirdly. That's pro what Jon Stewart did, obviously.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's I can't believe the very bare minimum we expect from our politicians, but whatever. That it's a shame. Like, it's a disservice to those kinds of people that our country's as divided as it is now. It's a shame to people that were lost in other tragedies.
Yeah, especially
because it's when are we going to learn? How come every other seemingly advanced country in the world can learn from tragedies, but our country never seems to? And things constantly happen, whether it's mass shootings or other tragedies, or God, nothing like 9/11's happened since, thank God, and God willing, it never happens again.
Yes, never again. No,
but tragedies like it, we never, unfortunately, that kind of camaraderie and unity immediately following can never be eternal. And that's something that always kind of breaks my heart.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's very crazy. It's like what you emphasized right there, that unity. I think that's the big key word right there. It was huge. It was the unity back then. It didn't, like you said, it didn't care what you sided, Democrat or Republican. It didn't matter. You were a Mets fan or you were a Yankee fan. Everybody was American that day. Like, it didn't matter if you were white or you were black. Everybody was American that day. Like, after for like weeks and weeks, like the country was together. And it's unfortunate that today, like, more people keep dying from 9/11 related. It breaks my heart. And I remember Jon Stewart. I remember he had like firemen on, like maybe 5 or 6 on like a round table to discuss like what to, like going to Congress and what they should be doing. And then I think it was 5 years later. I don't know if it was on I got to look up the clip again, but like they did like another round table, and it was only 1 or 2 firemen from that round table that were there, because the other firemen passed away, unfortunately, due to like illnesses caused by 9/11. I believe that's what it was for. But you know what I mean? But that's how crazy it was. That and it's like you said, it's a shame that Congress wasn't doing much for them until Jon Stewart led that charge. And credit to Jon Stewart too. For our first responders, especially on a day like that. So that was definitely a time where life stopped, like, for a moment. And football, like sports, was not played for a week. It was kind of where people want to just kind of gather and take in what just happened, and it just regroup. That's what America did right there. I have gone to the 9/11 memorial. I've only gone on nighttime. You can just feel the peaceful energy and peaceful vibe. Because like obviously it's a memorial. It was also nighttime. And they had like guards around it because they didn't want people going around there at nighttime. It was, like I said, it was like a peaceful vibe because, like, people there that passed away, they're at peace. Like, I don't know whoever's listening. I don't know if you're like into like spiritual, like, I don't know how spiritual you are and all that. We never talked about that, but like, what I mean, like I felt the peaceful energy when I was around it. And so obviously next time I go, I definitely want to say a prayer. But like I said, it's just, it would have been cool to see what the Twin Towers look like. Like, we're one of the last generations that kind of like born or like around when they were still standing. Like kids in school today, they have no idea. Not that we don't even have an idea either. Yeah. We were one when it happened. I'm not saying that, but like kids nowadays, like I said, and I want to make the record clear, like I said, I was one when it happened, so I can't really say anything about that day much. All I can really take in is from what others had experienced, and from and learning from it, and like I said, to never forget. But I think it's crazy that like a lot of the kids growing up now, like they, what I'm saying, like they're like maybe like 2010. Like obviously I work in a middle school. There's kids that were born in like 2010.
Oh my God.
2012, which it's scary.
I didn't even realize that. That's insane.
It's insane. It's making me feel old, which I don't like, But you know what I'm trying to get at is that like they,
Yeah,
that's
it's bizarre to think of that.
that's how great, they don't. So it's big. I think it's important for generations, obviously from who witnessed it, and obviously who keep learning from it, just to keep making sure these people don't forget, forget that day and just remember, the unity that, well, unfortunately, the unity that it's brought. Like I said, unfortunately, and just remember why we're proud to be Americans, and just like I said, and whenever tragedy hits, remember to stay strong and be patriotic of your country, and just grateful for the values and the rights that you have. That is my take on that. But like I said, it's just crazy that a lot, like a lot of generations they don't know that. And not to say that we do either. Like you know what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah, no, of course I do. Yeah, I mean, like it's a shame. Relating it to sports and whatnot, I'd done a term paper about New York and the effect 9/11 had on New York sports following, obviously, September 11th, 2001. And I mean, it really is, it did highlight, at least for sports, why it's important to society, professional sports. The escape of, what's around you. And it's kind of interesting because, it's weird. Like people like to have politics out of sports, right? And they like that escape of, I want to escape the world around me. I want to escape the tragedy on the news. How, it never seems like you hear good things or bad things are always happening, whatever. And I want to go to a sport game and just turn it off for a little bit. Turn off work, turn off the world around me while I'm at this field or whatever. The columns of Yankee Stadium, I would just care about what's in there for these next 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 4 hours, whatever. And, weirdly, when stuff like that happens, when the real world makes it impossible to tune out completely, there's this sense of unity and whatnot, which highlights why sports, why entertainment, why media is important. Because you want that escape. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah. No, I know.
So, it's very interesting. Like the post 9/11 in a sports sense, right? Because this is a sports show, so figured we'd talk about it. And this is a baseball show, so Sammy Sosa's home run in the first game back after 9/11, the first game, it was White Sox versus Cubs, if I'm not mistaken. And, him circling the bases with the American flag. And, as you're a Met fan, so of course the Mike Piazza home run.
Yeah, how could you not?
I'd say it's probably one of the most iconic New York sports moments of the 21st century. And I would argue one of the most important sports moments for New York after 2000, in the 21st century, because New York needed it at the time. And I think, that Yankees run, obviously they lost the World Series Game 7, but we were one at the time, but going back, researching it, looking at things like that. I mean, it was me, I'm a history major, so my research paper was detailed for it, that, finding different news clips, things like that, and like really learning about that time, the view of it that time was, it was weird to see like the evil empire became America's team for a bit. Yeah. And because they're the Yankees, their logo is the red, white, and blue, not the NY you see on hats, but the Yankees logo of the red, white, and blue with the hat and the Uncle Sam hat, the bat, everything like that. Didn't mean to rhyme. And it was a kind of a wild time afterwards. And you had I forget the guy's name. for the Jets, whose brother was a first responder there.
I believe he was on the Patriots.
Oh, right, but they're playing the Jets.
They're playing the Jets, yeah. Two of his brothers.
Right.
Dan Alonzi, something like that. He had two brothers that they escaped. Luckily, they made it. I remember they went on the field. They actually were at the game that day. The Jets Patriots.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting. You go back, you watch the NBA season from 2001 to 2002 because that was right before the season started. That season, they're all wearing the red, white, and blue ribbons on their jerseys. So if you ever see, just a random highlight reel of so-and-so, if they have that red, white, and blue ribbon, that means it's the 01-02 season. Mark Messier, it's a lot of it. It was a big moment afterwards for sports. It galvanized the city.
So hopefully,
is because people knew relatives, friends, family. Maybe they didn't personally, but they knew people who did know people who died.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. So they needed that escape. So that moment. And like I said, hopefully, honestly, hopefully we never get to know that feeling.
Yes. Hopefully we never get to know that feeling ever.
So.
But yeah, definitely rest in peace to all the people that perished on that fateful day. That unfortunate day. And may God bless America.
Mm-hmm.
People never forget 9/11.
Yeah.
There you go. A moment of silence for that. But now, before we get into, let's get on a lighter note. Before we, not trying to get on a roller coaster. Do you want to know James Earl Jones did pass away? Iconic figure. We will dive into that. But before we do, because I don't want to make the show too sad as it is, let's talk about the Mets and the Yankees first. We're going to dive into the impact of James Earl Jones, the life of James Earl Jones, and the impact he's had on the world.
Mm-hmm.
Man, was that man iconic? And did he?
Ed Kranepool too, Mets legend.
Kranepool too. Oh my God, forget about it. Oh man, rest in peace to Ed Kranepool. He was 17 when he came into the majors.
What were you doing when we were 17, man?
Yeah,
right out of high school. Oh my God, I was cutting grass.
I certainly was not in the majors. Credit to him, though.
Grass for a living.
And he's obviously a member of the '69 Mets. He passed away at the age of 79. It's crazy. I remember seeing him when he was on the 50th anniversary. I don't know if he was at Old Timers Day. I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention.
He was. I don't know if he was this year, but last year he certainly was. Obviously, he didn't play, but yeah.
I wasn't paying attention too much. I actually had a lot going on around that time, so I couldn't be able to pay attention. That was my aunt's favorite ball player too. So that was crazy. That kind of hit a little personal to me too. He was an all-star in '65, obviously a key part. He was with the Mets from '62 to '79. You could argue it seems like he was the longest tenured Met.
I can't think of anybody who's been there longer. David Wright didn't have a long career.
David Wright didn't have a long career. Let me see.
I mean, he's, we always kind of make fun of the Don LaGreca rant at Kranepool, but I mean,
oh yeah, it was Ed Kranepool. Was it?
If you're making a all-time Mets roster, and we wanted to do this on another show we had years ago. I don't know if you remember that. And maybe that's something we could do in this offseason. Just pick the all-time teams for every roster, Major League Baseball, and just shoot the breeze. Why not? Have fun with it. Wow, that got close. Have fun with it a little bit. And if you're making an all-time Mets team, there's guys that are better. There's guys that might be more important from a winning standpoint. But there's not too many guys that, deserve their number retired more, deserve the statue more, deserve the fandom, the fanfare more than Ed Kranepool for the Mets. Because while he wasn't the best player in the league. He wasn't. But he was a Met. He was the Met.
Yeah.
Because Tom Seaver was traded away. Nolan Ryan was traded away. Cleon Jones wasn't a career Met. And then you go into the 70s, dark time for the Mets. Rusty Staub, who was the face of their team, traded for Gary Carter. Obviously, it worked out for you guys. But, I think he came back, years later. But they got rid of, he was the only career Met until David Wright.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And that's one of the that's the thing I always bring up with Pete Alonso of like, here you have a guy who's a homegrown talent that you have the opportunity to keep. So, it's obviously a shame. He lived obviously to a great age. And, I hope that his family and whatnot, they're doing well, and, rest in peace to Ed Kranepool.
Rest in peace to Ed Kranepool.
But yeah, man, he's got to go down as like one of the most important Mets. He's got to, right? One of the most iconic.
He was part of the '69 Mets. How can he not? Definitely key figure in helping them, get that first, the Miracle Mets and the first World.
You would know better than I would. Who was their best position player? Was it Cleon Jones or was it Ed Kranepool? Because like obviously, when you think of the '69 Mets, you instantly think of Tom Seaver. But after that, like as a casual fan, well, I'm more than a casual fan, but casual Mets fan, I don't know much else about their roster. Like I don't know much about like how did they win and whatnot. You hear the huge stretch, like that crazy streak they went on and everything like that. That the Miracle Mets, right? They seem to be dead in the water. They rally back to winning the World Series. But like I don't know. I know you read a bunch, a Tom Seaver book or two. Like I don't know if you would know. Like, who was their guy? Or was it really just like they were just the ultimate, like we're gonna win by the power of friendship kind of roster?
Cleon Jones. I guess it was Cleon Jones. I mean, Jerry Groot was also part of the team.
Right, Jerry Groot. Yeah,
they had Jerry Groot.
Oh, who just passed away too, right?
Passed away too.
Wow.
Obviously, you had Kranepool. And you got Tom Seaver. They had Jerry Guzman.
Yeah.
But, it's like a pitcher. I believe they have Todd McGraw. I believe he was on the team.
Yeah, the pen. Interesting.
So they were stacked to the bone on the roster.
And Nolan Ryan throwing heat.
They even had Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, he had no control. That was the thing.
Those are Mets that I'm thinking of. Obviously, Gil Hodges was their manager. Just looking up the roster quick. Jerry Kuzman, Tommy Agee. He was one of the best players too. Bart Harrelson, he lived in Long Island. He recently just passed away too.
Yeah.
Our Arch Frankie.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. You know what? There's an easy answer to this question.
What's
I'm just gonna go to Baseball Reference and see who has the highest WAR.
It says Cleon has a 7.
Wow, I didn't know he was that good. To be honest with you,
he has 7.2.
Wow.
What's that?
No, I didn't. I'm just gonna be honest. Like I didn't know that Cleon Jones was that good.
Yeah, he was him. In '69, he had a great year. He was hitting 340, and he had a
Jesus Christ.
OPS plus of 151.
Who was their bench player? Choo Choo Coleman, right?
They did Ed Charles. I don't know if you know the story about Ed Charles.
No, I don't.
He's in the Jackie Robinson movie, 42. Like his young version of himself is, and at the end of the movie, obviously when they show him in a ball, they bring up how he was on the '69 Mets. He was one of the oldest players too. I think he passed away a couple years ago, I think too. Hope I'm wrong. He was 36. He was the oldest player on that team. But either way, I guess you want to go down a list. That was Ed Kranepool. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But on a lighter note, the Mets, though, hopefully they can make a run like the 69 Mets. What a game today. What a game today. They were getting no-hitted in the through 8 innings, and then Francisco Lindor said otherwise.
Yeah, you know, I got to say something, man. I know he had a monster game. Ohtani did today. I think it's getting harder and harder to argue against Lindor to be the MVP. I know he's not going to win it, but if it was me, I think I'd give it to Lindor.
How could you not?
I mean, what he's done, it's unbelievable. Every time you think this team is done, he drags them back. Like, what? He's unbelievable. He's automatic.
He's great.
It's phenomenal. I'm glad to say that, like, I saw him play twice this year because this is like a historic season, man. I mean, you come back, you break up a no-hitter late, and then you win the game. What, 6-4, 6-2? Right? I don't have it in front of me at the moment, the final score.
6-2.
Jesus, what did they hit, a walk-off grand slam?
Alvarez hit a 3-run homer, and when the new pitcher came out.
Well, that doesn't make sense. Didn't they win in the bottom of the ninth?
No, they're away in Toronto.
Oh, so okay, gotcha. Wait a minute.
What?
Listen, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. First of all, I don't know what I missed the whole game because I was at work. I didn't watch it. The Mets weren't home for 9/11?
No, they were not. But they did wear caps of like FDNY.
Yeah, I know they always like the FDNY, the NYPD, whatever.
NYPD, Department of Sanitation. But no, they were not home for 9/11, no. The Yankees were, though.
I know that. Why is it that? I don't know what their scheduling is. Their MLB scheduling is like a joke. I think we've made fun of it just about every episode, or at least I have.
We have, yeah. But they've been looking in Lindor. How can you not have the case for him? I feel like the more that he's been playing, and the more the media's been giving him the attention, and the more that the case for an NL MVP for him, I think it's more legit. It's pretty legit. Like, it's not.
I think he should win it. I really think he should win it. Like, I know Ohtani's going to get 50-50. I know. There's precedent for guys. We did this last week. There's precedent for guys to get 40-40 and not win. A-Rod didn't, but he was like far and away the best player that year. A-Rod didn't get it. Alfonso Soriano didn't get it. You know, half the guys to get 40-40 never actually won MVP. Now, this is the first to do 50-50. The first 40-40 guy was Jose Canseco. Jose Canseco also didn't have a new rule to hand him at least 15 to 20 extra stolen bases. I'm not trying to sound like a hater to Ohtani. I'm not. But let's call a spade a spade. Every single team has a guy that has 20 plus stolen bases now. You weren't seeing this 3 years ago, bro. No. Teams weren't getting 70 stolen bases. Now you got players going out and getting 70 stolen bases. What Lindor has done to keep the Mets in it. Who's the Mets ace right now? Sean Manaea?
It's not bad. I mean, hey, he's been playing. He's been pretty.
No, he's been great. He's been great. who's the Mets? Who else is in the Mets lineup? Not Mookie Betts, not Freddie Freeman, not Will Smith.
Not
You're
Alex
the best hitting catcher, the best hitting first baseman, and the best hitting. I don't know. You could put him at short, second, or center, and he's perfect at all of them. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do, especially
listen. If Mike Trout has won MVPs before, then Lindor should win MVP.
I'm not trying to hate on Shohei. I'm not trying to, but you take him out of the lineup. Are the Dodgers really any different? The Dodgers are stacked from top to bottom with talent. Not to say the Mets aren't either, but the reason why the Mets are in the positions where they are is because of Francisco Lindor. That's how big of an impact he's had on this team. He's their most valuable player. A most valuable player should be on the impact of the team, not just as the stats, but the impact of their team. Like when Aaron Judge won the MVP in 22, he has a good shot to win it too. And this year, he carried the Yankees on their back.
Yeah,
and you said it plenty of times on the show. The Mets would not be, and how clutch he is. He's been great defensively. I've rarely seen him hit any errors. I feel like his first couple of years with the Mets, I feel like Lindor he's had a few errors or two, but his defense has always been intact, never gone away. This year, I've barely seen that. He's just been great. So I'd love to see. I feel like I said, I feel like each game he plays, and so, but it definitely goes to show that next year, if he keeps playing the same way, he will get his first All-Star game with the Mets. There's no way he doesn't. There's no way he doesn't. I feel like this is the year where people are like, what are we doing? Now voting in Lindor. I feel like each time he's gaining more respect from the media, from fans in the MLB. He's going on a Linsanity type run. It's funny, no pun intended. But he definitely makes a case for MVP.
Yeah.
Shohei definitely, but like if the Mets make the playoffs or maybe the World Series, he's going to get a good shot at winning the MVP. And there's only 16 games left, so hopefully he keeps playing good. So, yeah, but what a great, he's just clutch. And like I said, the Mets would not be in the spot they are without him.
Yeah, and I mean, real quick, he broke up a no-hitter today. Mets come back and win. Shout out, though, to Bowden Francis of Toronto. He joins elite company. One of 4 players to have 2 no-hitters going into the 9th and blow them both. Nolan Ryan from 1989 of Texas. 1988, Dave Stieb, also of the Blue Jays. By the way, there's a terrific docuseries on him by Secret Base if you ever want to watch it. It's great.
Okay.
And then the first was 1967, Steve Barber of Baltimore. So hopefully this kid can have a good career, man. Dude, if you're a Blue Jays pitcher and you're talked about in the same breath as Dave Stieb, I mean, you want to talk about people who should be in the Hall of Fame? Whatever. The 80s is underrepresented in the Hall of Fame. But back to Lindor, man. I only said that because it was on the screen. So shout out Bowden Francis. Hopefully the Blue Jays have their ace and it's not an Alek Manoah situation where he just falls off a cliff. I don't see how he can't get it. I get the argument Ohtani's going to have 50-50. Dude. Listen, there are certain players that can carry a team. I know people say, baseball, it's not an individual sport. It is. If you're transcendent enough, it is. It was for Aaron Judge in 22. I can tell you that much. I watched it. I watched almost every Yankee game that season. I remember when he tied Babe Ruth's record for home runs. I remember watching it on the Yes app on my cell phone at a gas station after leaving work. It was against the Pirates right after he hit that home run. Not long after that, the Yankees went on a run and ended with a walk-off grand slam by Giancarlo Stanton against the Pirates. Never forget it. That season, Aaron Judge carried the Yankees. And there's MVPs that get MVPs by stats. Then there's guys like what Lindor is doing, what Aaron Judge did, and other players. who carry a team and say, this isn't a team sport. No. This is, you're going to have to beat me. And he did it. He did it. That's not a long list of players who could dominate the sport the way Lindor has done it this year. It's a very short list historically. Very short list. You know?
Yeah.
Bonds, Ricky Henderson. I would say Seattle, Ken Griffey Jr., maybe, but not Cincinnati, Ken Griffey Jr. Babe Ruth, obviously. Lou Gehrig. That could just go on stretches where, I mean, this is going to be a hot take, but Giancarlo Stanton, when he was with the Marlins, I mean, I think people forget because they didn't make the playoffs, but dude, I mean, it wasn't for a lack of him. I mean, there were times where, like, yeah, he was putting up more numbers than entire teams combined. And Lindor, what he's done, man, like, from just a strictly most valuable player. And listen, a lot of people are dinging Ohtani because, you know, he's a DH. I don't think that's fair. I think a DH should be able to win the MVP. It's a legitimate position. If you're mad about it, be mad about it. But it's a legitimate position. Yeah. That's a stupid take to have. That's like saying a left winger shouldn't win in hockey. Why? It's a position, isn't it? If an offensive guard is so good in the NFL, if they say Trent Williams should win the MVP, guess what? He should win the MVP. I know, don't get me started on the MVP in the NFL, but whatever. If a sixth man of the year is averaging 40 points per game off the bench, if Manu Ginobili, they got a time machine in 07, Manu Ginobili showed up for the Spurs tomorrow and starts putting up 40 points because nowadays it's easier to score, so be it. It's a legitimate position. I don't want to hear it. That being said, I just think Lindor's been better. He started the year off horrible, and since then, he's been undoubtedly the best hitter in the National League. I don't care. Are we really going to penalize the guy for a bad month when the rest of the season he hasn't been good? He hasn't. He hasn't been good. Lindor hasn't been good. He's been dominant.
He's been dominant.
There's a difference. I mean, my gosh, he's been incredible. I know we keep saying it, but he's definitely gonna get I don't know why it didn't show up when I tried stepping in here, Lindor. Sorry. I mean, he's a 6.5 WAR. He's hitting 269, 30 home runs, 84 RBIs, 27 stolen bases, and OPS plus of 135. He's going to get 30 home runs, 30 stolen bases. It's impressive, but if I'm going to, ding Ohtani on it, I got to ding Lindor on it. The stolen bases aren't as impressive as they used to be. That being said, if your argument for Ohtani is the 50-50 thing, then you have to respect the 30 stolen bases Lindor is going to wind up with, the 30 plus, hopefully, that he's going to wind up with. And, I mean, I don't know. What do you have to say? He should have been an all-star. He wasn't an all-star. I think he's going to get first team All-MLB. He definitely deserves it, in my opinion. The only one I could see him getting over Lindor would be Bobby Witt Jr.
Right.
Because you can argue Bobby Witt Jr. is going to win the American League batting title at this rate. And you can say the same thing about Bobby Witt Jr. You could say about Lindor, about carrying his roster. It just so happens that Aaron Judge is also one of the other players in the league who could carry a roster. So, But strictly for the NL MVP voting, I think Lindor should get it.
I agree. Now, I feel like we covered on this topic a lot.
Yeah, I think we did.
I want to bring up Sean Manaea because he's been.
Dude.
I know before. I remember when they signed him, you were telling me he's going to be great for them, but wow! But you didn't tell me he was going to dominate.
Can I ask you something?
What?
Have I been wrong about the Mets in a year? I said JD Martinez was a perfect fit. He has, maybe he hasn't been perfect.
Well,
I mean, he either hits a double with 900 RBIs or strikes out 4 times in a game. That's it. I was right about Manaea. Mets season started slowly. I was right about that. Preseason, didn't I say the Mets can easily make the playoffs?
I think you did, yes.
Now, I thought a lot of that was going to be with your boy Senga, whatever happened there. But I was right.
This is all without Senga, too. Imagine if they had him.
Oh, they'd be winning the division.
I mean, not that they're out of the NL East right now.
They're not the division.
They're not out of that entirely, but they would have been neck and neck with the Phillies.
Although the Phillies are getting hot, especially after that little bench clearing. I'm tougher than you. No, you're not. Yeah, I hate to. There's nothing that gets me more mad in baseball than the benches clearing. Either fight or don't. Do it like Jose Ramirez and Tim Anderson. Either fight or don't.
Mm-hmm. But I remember, but Manaea right now, he has 171 strikeouts. And according to Matthew Brownstein, the last time a left-hander Mets pitcher had more strikeouts in the season was in 2008 when Johan Santana had 206. And then Oliver Perez had 180. So that's a story about that. And I would love to have Sean Manaea come on, stay with the Mets. He was recently asked about. He was recently asked if my phone would load up. It's taking forever. He has expressed he would love to stay with the Mets. There's no problem with if he does. But he's been great though. So I love seeing him on the team. He had a great game today. Let's see. His last 15 starts, he's gone 92.2 innings pitched, 2.72 ERA with a 0.95 WHIP and 98 strikeouts. That's pretty insane. And now the Mets they're a game up against the Braves in the wild card spot as of now. And so, yeah, now who knows how the vibe would have been if they would have lost today, but they're definitely in a better place. And right now, the Diamondbacks have the 4th wild card spot as they're 82-64. The Padres are 82-65, and the Mets now have 80-66. Only a game above the Braves, who are 79-67. And the Cubs are not out of it too. They're only 4.5 games back. They're still kind of trying to fight, but do they got a shot? I'm not too sure because it's definitely going to come down between the Mets and the Braves. So now the season's getting interesting now. This Phillies series, it's pretty big now. So the Mets are technically kind of second in the NL East. So imagine if they swept the Phillies, which it's going to be tough. But all I'm saying is if the Mets are really going to want to make the playoffs, this is huge. This is where it gets tough. They play good against the tough opponents, but they can't beat the bad opponents. So, like I said, this Phillies series, it's huge. The Mets are really serious about the playoffs or the division. They would fight. They would just go nuts.
All right.
I'll be right back real quick.
Oh, okay. I had a question for you. Take your time.
I'll still be here. Actually, no. All right, let me answer quick.
I don't want to get schlocky nonsense, like hot take nonsense that I hate, but I'm going to do it. Let's say the Mets sweep the Phillies. Do we surpass the Mets? Maybe they make the playoffs. Maybe they find their way in. And do we skip right to, should they be the favorites in the National League to get to the World Series?
100%. 100%. I thought that today too. They could easily make a run to the World Series. I could see it. The Diamondbacks can do it. So could the New York Metropolitans. Because anything in baseball is possible.
I think you're right. They've had the best record in the league since May 30th.
57 of 33.
I think you're right.
They definitely can make a run for it. I think so.
I'm really thinking about it. You could say the Dodgers because while the NL West is getting closer, they had a lot of injuries this year. Now, if your roster is perpetually injury prone, that's a you problem. But it is reality. The Phillies have kind of had plot armor. Harper didn't miss too much time this year. Castellanos has played a lot. Like, I don't think they've had too many major injuries. Now, I don't cover them anymore like I used to. But they seem fine. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, they don't seem like they've had the litany of injuries the Mets have had. They were without Martinez for the first month while Lindor was struggling. They haven't had their ace for a second, let alone two, like the Phillies have in Wheeler and Eflin. Why do I always do that, man? Why do I always do that? Wheeler or Nola? Why do I always confuse them? I know they were teammates. They were teammates for a year, bro. Why do I always mix that up?
I wish I could tell you.
Yeah, I gotta see Chris Webber, sports psychologist. But it's the Mets. They gotta be in that conversation, bro. The Brewers, like, people are gonna say, like, oh, I think this is the Brewers' year. Okay, that's hot take even for me. But I mean, I don't know.
The Yankees, man. They got shut out last night by Seth Lugo, but what happened tonight? Did they come back and win today?
They did.
How did that go?
Jazz Chisholm is just proving me wrong again and again. It's like he personally saw all my horrible takes about him and said, hey, kid, you're an idiot. Now let me go score. Okay, have fun, Mr. Chisholm. What do you want me to say, bro? I mean, we're winning games. I hate it. I hate watching it.
You guys got a good lead against the Orioles right now. It's only a game and a half above them.
We're winning games, bro. I don't know. We're 5-5 over our last 10. The Orioles are also 5-5 over their last 10. We're 10 games up on the Red Sox, so it's us in Baltimore. I don't know, man. I hate it. Yeah, the Yankees won 4-3 in 11 innings on a Jazz Chisholm Jr. infield single. Excuse me. Dude, I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. They're having Luke Weaver close games now. Much like Clay Holmes, he can be wild at times and just walk the bases loaded, which is so frustrating to watch a team that doesn't have like a clear closer. But like we said a week or two ago, closers were going like free samples out of BJ's at the deadline, or at least we're on the block. I don't get it. I really don't get it, because any given day they look like they can win a World Series, and any given day they look like they're the most overrated, overpaid team in the league and don't deserve to be in the playoffs, let alone winning a division. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to make of them. Aaron Judge still on his homerless streak, right?
Yes.
Unless, of course, he hit one today. I didn't see one advertised anywhere, so I guess he didn't, but I'll check. Just out of curiosity's sake. We're playing the Red Sox tomorrow, who have butchered us all season. That's great. Really, over the last few. Yeah, no homers for Judge as he's getting closer to his career high in games, consecutive games played without a homer at like 15 or something like that. Must be nice. Didn't even have one in Little League. And, it's, I don't know if he's going to be, slumping, which slumping for him is still competitive at-bats and getting doubles and singles. If he's going to be slumping and we're going to be winning games, I guess it can't be mad. Garrett Cole seems to be doing good again. That's good.
That is good.
I'm still nervous anytime Rodon pitches. Stroman, it's like, he flips a coin how he's going to be. They're having Nestor Cortez pitch out of the pen, which I don't like. I think he should be starting, but I don't know. He's too agreeable, I guess. He had a good quote about, I'm just here to be a good teammate, and I just want to win, more or less. If you think that I have to prove myself more, fine. So be it. I'll prove myself more. I think I did enough to deserve a starting spot, but whatever. I'm here to win. So let's win. That's kind of what he said. And
all right.
I don't know. It's been such a frustrating season to watch as a Yankees fan. And I know people are going to say, yeah, but your team might win the division. Dennis, come on, stop. You're being ridiculous. It's the problem is you could see the potential. You could see the potential. They just can't consistently get there. I thought they did. And, that kind of mid-August stretch, I thought they were looking good, man.
You know what? You guys go through stretches where you guys look great. You guys go 52-10, and then you guys end up like 60-40. You know what I mean? Like you guys win, start off really hot, and then come crashing down back to earth. It's not over yet. Seth Lugo, that's him coming in having to start definitely didn't help, but it is what it is. I wouldn't give up yet. You just keep winning, and then that's what happened. That's the answer to everything. Just keep on winning. Dory says, just keep swimming, just keep winning. And that's really it. But yeah. I feel like we should talk about James Earl Jones quick. So I want to play the quick clip from Field of Dreams quick. And we'll discuss on that. You ready?
Yes. All right. This is fascinating. It is. But the fact remains is that you don't have the money to bring the mortgage up to date, so you're still going to have to sell. I'm sorry, Ray. We got no choice.
Ray, people will come, Ray. They'll come to Iowa for reasons they can't even fathom. They'll turn up your driveway, not knowing for sure why they're doing it. They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past. Of course, we won't mind if you look around, you'll say. It's only $20 per person. They'll pass over the money without even thinking about it. For it is money they have, and peace they like.
Ray, just sign the papers.
And they'll walk out to the bleachers. And sit in shirt sleeves on a perfect afternoon. They'll find they have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines, where they sat when they were children and cheered their heroes. And they'll watch the game, and it'll be as if they'd dipped themselves in magic waters. The memories will be so thick, they'll have to brush them away from their faces.
Ray, when the bank opens in the morning, they'll foreclose.
People will come, Ray.
You're broke, Ray. You sell now or you lose everything.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
Ray, you will lose everything. You will be evicted. Come on, Ray.
And obviously got just a great scene right there. And also he's known for being in like Sandlot,
Star Wars.
of course. Yes. Well, I was referencing more sports.
Oh.
But I love Phil. Just definitely sad loss there. Obviously, James Earl Jones had a big impact, obviously, on the community. Al Roker said it when he interviewed. I saw a clip. He said it. He's like, I saw it. He said it to James or Jones. Al Roker said, when I saw you, he said he pictured himself being able to be in those movies, something like that. Like he pictured him being able to like act and act for a long time. He was on Broadway plays and obviously found his way on Star Wars, and then coming to America, then Mufasa, and Lion King. You can't forget that. Just great actor, very talented, and it's definitely something that's going to be missed.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, I recall hearing that his health started to take a little bit of a turn, but it was a shame. I was just scrolling my phone and I saw he had passed away.
Yeah, that definitely hit. I was like,
Sad.
man, I didn't know his health was declining.
Yeah.
But when I think of him, I definitely think of Field of Dreams. That movie. I might watch it, honestly. Maybe I don't know if I'm gonna watch it tonight. I'll probably be snoozing. But I gotta watch it soon.
I shouldn't admit this on the air. Never saw it.
Whoa, are you serious?
Never saw it.
How have I seen that and you haven't? Not that I shouldn't be.
Well, I'm like a huge movie guy.
But you never saw Field of Dreams.
Never saw Field of Dreams.
Come on, man.
I never saw Field of Dreams. I never saw A League of Their Own. I never saw Bull Durham.
I've seen some of A League of Their Own, but I've watched Field of Dreams. Great, it's a great movie, man. You got to find the time to watch it.
Saw Little Big League. What's the other one? Rookie of the Year. Never saw them.
Crazy, man.
I've seen The Sandlot.
That's good, though.
I actually think I watched all the Sandlots. Yeah, there's more than one, guys. They're not good.
Yeah, they're nothing like
the first one's okay, but the other one's not that good. First one's better than okay. The first one's actually a pretty good movie. I think it's cheesy, but it's it's a kids movie. They don't make kids movies anymore. It's just Disney saying we're gonna make a live action movie that's just CGI anyway. So why are we making it? No. Sell a couple T-shirts, have a few laughs.
But you got to find the time to watch it, man. Come on, it's a great.
Yeah,
movie.
I definitely should.
You would love it, especially the baseball historian you are. You would love it.
Yeah, I certainly would. I don't know why I haven't watched it, man. There's really not an excuse for it. There's really not. I've seen Major League like 18 times, but I've never seen any of those other ones. Another one that's been recommended to me, and I think Robert De Niro is in it. But I think it's been remade. Or the Robert De Niro might be a remake. Is Bang the Drum Slowly. That's one that I've heard is really good. But it's one that's under, like, it's never on TV or anything like that.
Interesting. I never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a 1973 movie starring Robert De Niro, Michael Moriarty. Wow, the dude from Law and Order. No kidding. Vincent Gardenia. Like, I know the premise. Can I just... Like, my laptop's been giving me a hard time today. It's been giving me a hard time lately. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the premise of Bang the Drum Slowly is, you know, a pitcher and a catcher are a battery.
Yes.
The pitcher and catcher battery, the catcher, I think, gets terminal cancer when the pitcher is on the rise, and the pitcher feels added pressure to get him to the majors so he can get the benefits before he dies for his family. I think that's the premise of it. I could be misremembering it because I'd heard it once and I was like, that sounds awesome. I think it's based on a book.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Bang the Drum Slowly. I just Wikipedia'd it.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's based on a book from 1956. And it was previously dramatized in 1956 on the U.S. Steel Hour with Paul Newman. It's kind of cool.
That sounds pretty cool. But all right, is there anything else you want to talk about for a wrap up?
Yeah, Ohtani. I know we were just kind of saying like, oh, he's maybe a little overrated. Has the second most games with the stolen base and home run in MLB history, only behind Ricky Henderson. He's tied with a bunch of players with 12. So maybe it's not. Things are kind of looking a little grim for your boy Lindor, but
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I stand by my decision. I'm still locking in my answer if this was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I feel like a tag or something is stuck in my shirt because my skin's itchy. Always fidgety.
I feel that.
Yeah. I don't know if anything else was... Oh! Kumar Rocker is making his debut tomorrow for the Texas Rangers. Remember him? The Mets drafted him.
I do remember that, yes. Very unfortunately.
Yeah. Byron Buxton is coming back for the Twins Friday. I don't know if you saw that the Rays and the Phillies, they got into a kerfuffle after Rays pitcher Edwin Uceda intentionally threw at Nicholas Castellanos.
I think I did see that.
Castellanos. So here's, and for those of you who didn't know, Uceda was ejected in the 8th inning Tuesday after hitting Castellanos with a 96-mile-an-hour pitch. The hard-throwing right-hander said he did not pull on Castellanos on purpose, claiming he threw a changeup, but the Phillies did not believe Uceda. Castellanos said, I had an overwhelming sense that I was about to get drilled. Rhodes got a sense of what it was. He was just ticked off that he got hit around and his ERA shot through the roof. And actually, this news article leaves out that he said he acted like my little kid when he throws a tantrum. Ooh. So, yeah. Oh, well. That'll do it.
That will do it indeed. All right. Y'all good?
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, I don't recall seeing anything that...
I think we're all good.
This is actually kind of big. Braves put all-star right-hander Reynaldo Lopez on the 15-day IL because of shoulder inflammation.
He did come out of his last start. I think that was last night when they beat the Nationals 12-0. They lost tonight, too.
Yeah. Tommy Edman. I think the Dodgers just hit double digits on the Cubs. So I think you guys are... That's 10-7, bottom of the 8th at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, wow.
So I think the Cubs season is sinking.
Sounds like it.
Could be a break for you guys. One less thing you got to worry about.
I'd like that.
And the good thing is, you guys have the tiebreaker over the. I hate to keep prolonging the program, but you guys have the tiebreaker over the Padres and Diamondbacks. So you just got to get third. You just got to be in front of the Braves, and you're good.
And then they probably would have to face Milwaukee.
David Stearns.
How funny would that be?
Beat the team he built. Wow. That could be good. That's a storyline. That's a storyline, Brandon.
It would be really funny. Who knows? Like I said, power friendship.
Yeah.
We're gonna see. But you good?
Yeah. I think we covered all the bases, pun completely intended.
All right. We thank you for joining us on another edition of Battin and Chattin. For my co-host Denis Tuohy and the entire Blackjack Media Group team, I'm Brandon Natale, saying so long and we'll see you next time. Let's go Mets.
Let's go Yankees.